Okay, it's about 7:40 and you can hear the rain. It started drizzling about 7 o'clock and then it stopped, and about 2-3 minutes ago it started coming down quite heavily. You can hear it. So looks like everything's going to be wet. Hopefully this doesn't last too long and maybe it can dry overnight. I really would like to not have to put away a wet tent in the morning. And everything's already damp already from the humidity. Like my clothes and stuff, I was hoping to dry it out. But I managed to close off the doors and I'm staying dry for now. So we'll see. Take care. Good morning. It's Monday, the 16th of November, 2020. It is now 6:44 in the morning. I guess I got my wish last night. It did rain. And it started around 7:30, 8 o'clock with a little drizzle. And about 8:20 it started raining real hard, and it pretty much rained on and off throughout the night, even though there was only a 5 or 10% chance of rain. And it's still raining now off and on. So I originally planned on getting up at 5:40. I was hoping that the rain would stop and maybe my tent might be able to dry off, but I also realized I made a mistake about the distance I need to go today. And I thought it was 14 miles. It's actually like 18 or 19 miles. So I need to get that early start. I need those hours to hike. So I had set my alarm for 5:30, 5:40, something like that. But then when the rain, I kept waking up all night long with the rain and just tossing and turning. It's so hot and humid. It was oppressive. So couldn't really sleep. Had to constantly turn and shift, what I call the rotisserie, one side down, then the other side down. And as it gets hot and sweaty, I didn't even really use my sleeping bag. I basically slept on top of it. And this is what it looks like in the morning with all the fog in the air, 100% humidity. They're saying that the rain should be done by 8 or 9. It goes down to like 0%. So we'll see if the weatherman got it right or not. But I'm starting my trek. Just came to this open view. It was up a hill. Definitely was a climb. I don't know if it goes up like 70 feet or 60 feet, but you're obviously at the top of this climb, but the trees obstruct the view. But here I could look out over this large open area. I think there's a lake down that way as well. It's 9:30 or just about 9:30 in the morning. I've been walking for, what does that make it, 2 hours and 43 minutes? And I've gone about a little over 7 miles. So I passed a couple of lakes and I'm making my way, trying to do the miles and make my way to, I think, Juniper Springs. So where hopefully I will get a tent site and relax. I did have a little breakfast finally. I made myself walk 1 hour, I think, before I allowed myself to have breakfast. I've had breakfast. It was just some cookies that I did have last night for dessert. I basically ate that whole package of pasta and was full. So I never ate those cookies. So I had them today for breakfast. I've got some trail mix in my pouch as well. And I'm going to hopefully make my water last. I have really 1.5 liters. I swapped out my 1 liter bottles for 700 milliliter bottles. So I'm actually carrying, basically, 0.6 of a liter less but it's also saving me over a pound or 1.2 pounds of weight, something like that. So it's a trade-off. There is water available if I need to. Obviously, there's some of the lakes I could always filter. I've avoided having to do that so far. I was able to make it yesterday with my 2 bottles of water to the spring, and once at the campground, obviously there's water there. So I'm going to try to make it to the springs today with my water that I have. Hopefully I won't have to filter. It's been dry since the rain finally stopped around 7:30 or so, but everything's still damp, it's still humid, it's still foggy. I don't know if the sun's come up enough to burn any of this off or what the rest of the day brings. It's a Monday, so I'm not expecting to see a lot of people out here on the trail or even in the campgrounds. Unless you're on vacation, I figure most people are back at work today. So haven't seen anybody on the trail at all. No hunters, nobody. Hello, I'm at mile marker 430 on the Florida Trail in the Ocala National Forest. I'm at Farrell's, I think I'm saying that right, Hunt Camp, which is a camp that I guess is private. It's for hunters. You have to make arrangements to stay here. Taking the opportunity to stop and eat since I saw these tables. Nice view of the lake behind me. It's quite breezy and it feels cool, which feels good after the oppressive heat. And I've walked pretty much about 9 miles. So I figure I'm halfway, at least halfway to the spring, and it's only 10 o'clock. So if I can do another 3 to 4 hours, I figure I'm good to make my way into the spring in enough time to hopefully set up, dry my stuff out. Like I said, I don't know, the fog hasn't lifted off, but it's still early. I don't know if this is going to be all day or it's going to clear up later in the day. I certainly hope it does, only because I'd like to dry my stuff off. Other than that, I prefer this overcast, and even with the humidity, which feels, all damp and wet, is much better than hot weather with hot sun baking you. So I'll take what I can get. Unfortunately, you get what you get, and you just have to deal with it. You have to adapt to whatever weather God decides to provide you that day, and see the positive in it. So so my stuff is damp and wet, but you know what? I'm not sweating as much. I'm not hot. I'm not getting a sunburn. So that's the benefit. It rained last night, so there's more water on the trail if I need to drink and find water. You got to look at the positive. You can't let it get you down. It's just going to be what it's going to be, but it's not forever, and it'll change later today or tomorrow. It rains today, tomorrow it'll be hot and sunny. So I'm a little further down in the prairie area, and you can just see it's kind of opened up. The tree cover is kind of sparse, and you have these tall undergrowth that obstructs the view, but it's more open. A totally different vibe and feeling than when you're in, the pines or in the forest area. So it definitely is more open. I can see the sun in the distance shining through. So I have a feeling a lot of this early morning fog and humidity will be burning off a little bit, and then it'll get hot. So enjoy it while I can. So I'm gonna keep doing the miles, and like I keep saying, I'm halfway there. I just gotta focus on the positive. And here's a spider that freeloaded. I guess I ruined his spider web, and he's taken an attachment literally to my hat. It's a little after 1 right now. I've been hiking for 6 hours and 23 minutes, and I've gone about 17.25 miles. Hopefully Juniper Springs is about a mile and a half away, maybe 2 miles, but thereabouts. I came across this boardwalk as we go over this area, so I figured I'd record a little bit. It's been a while. I kind of got in the zone for a little while. Well, I've made it. I just crossed State Road 40, which means I'm about 1.4, 1.5 away from Juniper Springs. And you can see the sign. Reach the Juniper Prairie Wilderness. So let's continue walking. Let's make camp. Okay, I'm at Juniper Springs. I made it. It's 19 miles total I walked. 7 hours, 15 minutes. I'm still walking, unfortunately. I'm going to go to the spring itself. I'm thinking of jumping in and cooling off a little bit. And then I'm going to go to my campsite, which I'm in the Tropical Loop, number 33. So, but just enjoying. Going to show a little bit of the spring, I guess. Really could use a shower. Unfortunately, there's no concessions here. According to them, I guess they changed companies and they don't have any concessions right now. So the lady at the, I guess the pay booth, the information booth, her name was Melissa, very helpful, really friendly and very informative. Additionally, showed me a map of the park as I go up and different distances to different places. Even though I have done a lot of planning, it was pretty good. You know, obviously she has a little more local knowledge than I do, and it was recommending maybe some either side trails or places I might want to visit. So I thank her for that. It was a pleasurable encounter. So thank you, Melissa, for your help. And here I am at Juniper Springs. I am actually going to take my socks and shoes off and probably head into the spring and cool off a little bit. Springs feel good. Nice and cool. Rest of my feet. I didn't see any blisters, but I did see a couple of spots that might be little blisters. So definitely puffing up. The skin was all white from getting wet. So gonna probably refrain from walking as much as possible today. And here's my home for the night. It's spot number 33 at Juniper Springs. Gonna have to try and grab some sun and dry my clothes out. Definitely want to wash my shirt and my socks. But pretty typical fare. So we'll be good. I'm gonna set up a little bit. Too bad I don't like turkey. It is coming to Thanksgiving. These guys should be a little bit worried. Oh, they may be worried. Another 2 weeks. One of them could be on a plate somewhere. But I finished setting up my tent. I washed my socks. Got them drying. Unfortunately, I'm losing daylight here. I have no daylight in my tent site at all as the sun's going down behind those trees. So necessity made me find a way to dry my socks. So I found this tree. Looks like I have a visitor in my campsite. How you doing? Hey. Hello. Hi. No? You don't trust me? That's okay. You're better off not trusting me. You don't know me. Well, my cat seems to have taken a liking to my campsite. I went to go get water. When I came back, he was on top of the table here, sniffing around the stove. So maybe he smelled some food or something, or he's hoping to join me for dinner. But I did not invite him to dinner, so I didn't bring anything for him. So sorry to say, he's finally walking off a little bit. I've been ignoring him, and he keeps going by the tent to play with the lines. He likes the cords, I guess. They're a toy for him, so I've been chasing him away. So he just moved on to someone else's campsite across the road. So hopefully he'll do well. I decided to make the pasta Roma for dinner tonight. I happen to like pasta, and also two other reasons. This is the heaviest meal that I'm carrying in terms of weight, so it'll lighten my pack a little bit. It's also the most calories of any of my meals if I make them just by themselves. So seeing as today I did the most mileage, I did 19 miles or so today, I'll do a recap later. I feel that I'll eat the most calorie-laden meal to replace the calories I used and get rid of that weight at the same time. So that's the reason for using it. And good thing I'm reading this as well, because this is 2¼ cups of water. So I'm finding out a lot of these meals now, they're not standard. They used to be pretty much 2 cups of water, but they're not. And I was looking at some of the other Mountain House ones I bought, like the chicken teriyaki. It's 1 2/3 cups. So unless you have a very good measuring cup with you, you're kind of eyeballing it. So just know. And this is also 1 3/4 cup. So they're pretty close, but you know, this is 13 ounces, this is 14 ounces of water. So most people are not going to have a very graduated ability to measure water accurately on a trail. You're going to kind of eyeball it. I just wanted to show you the Kettleton Be-Free filter system. And what I do is I have it hooked up to a pole. That's really, I'm assuming, for a lantern. But what I like to do is fill this up. It saves me from having to go get water constantly out of the water bottles. And it's not flavored, so there's no taste in it. And this is basically, you know, 2.5 liters of water, almost 3 liters of water. So this is more than enough for me for tonight and probably in the morning. And then usually what I do is I fill up I drink as much as I can in the morning. Or what I've been doing lately is I drink as much as I can. I fill my water bottles up to make sure I'm very full of water and hydrated when I start hiking. And that lets me go a little bit further. You know, I didn't drink any water probably today on the trail until about 6 or 7 miles in. And that was probably 2 hours of hiking because I was so hydrated before, and it was cooler without the sun shining down on me. So what I'll do now is I'm going to fill this up, fill up my cup, and I'll start making dinner. So, but just wanted to show, and this is a gravity-fed system, and it does flow very well. You know, I like it better than Sawyer Squeeze. I had a Sawyer gravity-fed filter earlier before they did away with it, but I want to show you what the flow rate is. And the best thing is that it requires no squeezing. So just see how fast that goes in there. And I don't want to waste the water, but you can see how fast it comes out. And there's no effort or work on my part. That filter is pretty big, has a lot of surface area, so that I don't have to squeeze the filter. And I think it's much easier than the Sawyer Squeeze. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the gas and begin to cook. And there's my little piezo lighter, so I don't have to carry Oh, you may have a problem, Houston. Nope, it's working. There we go. I don't know why it didn't work. I'm not going to edit that out. So, here we go. This is about 2 cups of water. I'm going to start to bring it to a boil. In the meantime, I'm going to prep my bag. So what I need to do is, you need to open this up. Like most of them, they're very, very common. They'll all have a seal you open up. These happen to have a ridge so you can seal it again. It's resealable. And you got to take out the oxygen absorber. So, and I just want to show you, it looks pretty good. It looks like there's some powdered, probably tomato and cheese sauce, and little shells in here. So, I'm just going to lift it up. So you can see, looks pretty good actually. Looks appetizing. I gotta say, so far I'm liking this. So the pasta aroma, I happen to like tomatoes with cheese. It's Parmesan and Romano cheese. And it smells pretty good. And I gotta say, I am getting hungry. So let me find my spoon. I've been putting a lot of stuff in this bear canister since I'm lugging it around. So anything with a smell, you know, you gotta remember when you go camping in bear country. You know, one of the rangers here asked me, do I have bear spray or a horn, an air horn or something. I'm like, no, I don't have any of those things. I'm not really worried about it. But you know, like toothpaste, they don't know. It just smells like food to them. It has an odor, so you got to put that away. Sunscreen, anything that has a smell that you wouldn't normally think of, like sunscreen, you wouldn't think it's food. Chapstick, you know, lip balm, they all have fragrances in them, and to an animal, that just smells like food. So you got to make sure you put those away, and you definitely want to make sure you don't leave anything in your pockets of your pack at night. You know, I have a tendency, I always carry snacks in my left hip pocket, and if you leave that in there, not only might a bigger animal come, but you'll definitely get small ones. If you leave some food in there, like cookies or something like that, or crumbs, anything that they can smell, you will get a visitor. If it's a mouse or something small, they're going to chew into your pack or a hole in your tent to get to it. And you know, your gear is expensive, and that really would upset me a lot, because now your pack has a hole in it, you know, in the shelter. But if I'm sleeping in my tent and they have to chew through the tent to get to it, now my tent's ruined. You know, I'm not going to patch a hole like that, or it's going to be very challenging to patch. You know, it's going to be a big patch, and it definitely upsets the integrity of it. KT tape, which I'm going to put a little extra on tomorrow on my left foot, especially in the back. I started feeling a little rubbing there today. So I'm going to be preventative to make sure that my feet stay good, because I have 2 more days of hiking. Well, actually, no, I have tomorrow is Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday. So don't want to risk getting a blister. I've been very fortunate. Today was the first time in a while I was really worried about getting a blister in my left foot. Plus, they were wet all day, wet from this morning. Once I put my socks on, and the shoes were wet from yesterday, and they never dried out. They started getting a little dry, and then I had to go back into the water. So, you know, that's something to watch out for. People keep walking by. I guess I'm near the garbage receptacle. So everybody in the whole loop has to walk by to get to the garbage receptacle, which is a metal box, which is behind my campsite, like by 50 feet though. But it's on the corner of where the road and the loop road for the campsite meets. So everybody's walking by. Okay, the water's boiled. I'm going to pour it in here. And the directions for this say to, most of them you stir because you want to mix it up. And then, once again, I'm not putting it on the nylon or the plastic covered table. I could see plenty of places where people did that. It's melted. You want to stir it up. This way everything gets combined a little bit. Starts the process of rehydrating, especially the powder. So I stir it up real good. And then seal it up. That keeps the heat and the moisture in, the humidity levels high. If I was in really cold temperatures, I'd probably want a little koozie to keep that heat in. That's the one problem with these things, you know, if it's really freezing temperatures. And then just gonna let it sit. It says 10 to 12 minutes. I'll probably give it 15 or more. It's 16:40. It's a quarter to 5 o'clock now, so I'll wait till at least 5 o'clock to start eating, and I'll let you see what it looks like then, and we'll give it a taste test, and I'll give you some feedback on it. Okay. While I'm waiting, I figure I might as well record a little bit more. The cat's hanging out with me. My power for my devices worked pretty good today. Today my phone really used up a lot more power. I did put it in airplane mode, but I hiked a little longer. It was 7 hours. It was down to about 40%. I believe I started at 90 or 89 this morning. I charged it up last night, and then I put the battery pack away. So overnight, I think it went down about 8 or 9%. I probably had it in airplane mode most of the day. I did turn it on once or twice to check the weather, so that could account for it. Signal is really bad here. I have AT&T. The signal has been very, very low. As a matter of fact, when I first came to the campsite, I couldn't make a phone call. I was able to text, but I didn't have strong enough signal. I didn't even have a bar to check messages or to send a phone call out, but I was able to receive text. So I walked over to another campsite, like 2-3 campsites over, and I got a bar, and then I actually got 2 bars, and I was able to call home and check in. So it's been hit and miss. I was able to send out photos even, and also check my messages. So that's been hit and miss. My watch definitely used up a lot of power. I charged it again last night, and I've gotten the habit now of charging it all the way overnight into the morning, and then starting out with a full charge. But I figured I know it can go about 10, 12 hours, and I was only going to be walking 7 or 8 hours. So it's down to about probably 20% or less. So I'll have to charge that tonight. My star has really been my GPS. My GPS, I actually left it on last night, did not shut it off, but I did stop the tracking, so it's not reporting my location all night long. It's just on. And I think I started at 80 something percent. And let me see, I just turned it off a little while ago, and it's really held its own. I think I can easily go all 5 days. It's at 82%, and I think it started at like 89 this morning. So I think I can easily go all 5 days without recharging this. It was a good day. I'm definitely tired. I feel it. I'm not used to walking this much. Obviously, there was a little bit of terrain change, but it wasn't much. I really am concerned about my performance going forward for the Pinhoti, which is really just 8 weeks away from now. I'm planning on going in mid-January, and I am no way prepared for that hike. I think I'm definitely gonna have to go home and start doing some training. Okay, it's 5 o'clock now. I waited basically 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna check on the food, and we'll see how it is. Smells like tomato and cheese. It all looks well mixed. It's very creamy. It smells good actually, and the sauce isn't too runny. I might have added a little too much water, but it looks good. I can't tell if the pasta noodles are all cooked or not. I'm gonna just get a little closer. Tastes good to me so far. I'm gonna bring the camera over here so you can see how it looks. You can see in there, it's all mixed up. The shells are in there with a cheesy tomato sauce. It's creamy. I'm gonna taste it now, and I'll give you my. The noodles are actually cooked. They're soft, no crunchy noodles, which is my pet peeve. That's why I wait longer. I've had a couple of horror stories. You can taste the tomato, you can taste the cheese. It's not overly powerful with either one of those tastes. They're together. I actually love tomato itself and the taste of tomato like a sauce, so I would like it more tomatoey. But it tastes good to me. And there are little flecks of tomato in there. So I would actually buy this again, and I would easily and gladly take this on a trip. One of the ways you can reduce the weight is bring one of these, and then the other ones, what you do is you open them up in advance and put them in a smaller Ziploc bag where it's not going to have so much weight, because these bags are pretty thick and heavy, and you can reuse one of these bags over and over, and you have the same quality meal but without all the weight, because this bag is quite heavy. Well, that's going to be it for now. I'm going to finish eating my food. I'm quite hungry. I really don't eat lunch. I basically just noshed during the day. I had a bar. What else did I have? I had some gummies. I like gummies. They're fruit snacks, actually. They're fruit gummy snacks. I had those. I did have a package of like trail mix. And I had my last 2 or 3 pieces of jerky. I wasn't going to bring any, and at the last minute I brought some, and I've been eating this. It's Korean barbecue pork jerky, and it tastes really good. I really like it, so I actually ate the whole package already. There was some missing before I arrived. I did eat some on the first day, but I basically tear through that package. It's really good. It has a sweet taste to it, so I actually like it a lot. But I'll eat teriyaki, jerky as well, or even some of the spicy, the hot jerky, I'll eat that as well. But I really like that Korean barbecued pork jerky. Definitely going to get more of that for a hike. The only problem is it's kind of heavy in a bag, and I'll probably repackage it into smaller packet servings. I figured I finished eating, and I'd give you an update of the day and a synopsis of what I did today. I did find some crunchy bits at the bottom, and I don't think I mixed it up enough. There was a lot more tomato flavor at the bottom. I think the cheese is more on the top. So I'm going to chalk that up to operator error. But other than that, it was pretty good. I did eat it down at 680 calories for that. So I'm still at a deficit for the day, depending on what you believe. But I'm sure I burned at least 2,500 calories or something today. And I'm sure I haven't eaten that much. I did 7 hours and 24 minutes of hiking, according to my Garmin watch. And I'm not sure the distance on that. I think I did, what did they say, 19 miles? Because my phone doesn't have internet, it's not able to update from the watch, because it also includes the GPS track, so it can't download that information, so it doesn't do it. I did discover a blister on my left foot just now when I went to put my shoes back on. I was going to go get water, and I realized all of a sudden it hurt in the back, which is where I felt that rubbing, and I probably should have stopped, but of course, I tell people to do it, but I don't do it myself. So I definitely will have to treat that a little bit. Now, I did just pop it and drain it, and I put a Band-Aid on it, but tomorrow there'll be KT tape over that so I can protect it, because I do have another 14 miles to go. The next park I think I'm going to stay at is Hopkins Prairie, which is only about 11 miles. So it'll be a shorter day. So I don't know. But other than that, it was a good day. A hard day. I definitely feel it physically. I'm not happy about that blister. It's the first blister I've gotten probably in at least 3 years or so. So I'm going to make sure that I tape that up. And I have a feeling it was due to the socks with the wet in the shoes as well. But it is what it is. So tomorrow I will hopefully protect it a little better, and then I won't have that problem. Hopefully. And it'll heal up in a couple of days, probably 3 to 4 days. By that time I'll be off the trail, so it won't make a difference. It's only 5:30. I still got about an hour of sunlight, and then I'll probably go in the tent. I'm charging up the phone. It's about 40% now. It's taking its time, but it doesn't matter. I have all night. But I may start editing some of the videos. So that'll keep me busy until I hopefully fall asleep. And hopefully I'll get some sleep tonight without the rain, and it'll be quiet. Hope I have a better night. If the temperature does drop into the 50s or 60s like they're saying, maybe I can actually get some sleep, because last night it was probably in the 70s all night with the humidity and the rain. It was just terrible. I didn't sleep at all. It was just hot and sweaty. Reason why I don't like going camping during the summer. So, but sometimes you do it when you have to. If there would have been a breeze, it would have been nice, but with the rain coming down so hard, I had to keep the flaps closed, which built up the humidity inside the tent. So the tent is dried pretty well. The outside is pretty good dry. I put the flaps down now so that the flaps themselves will dry out a little bit, and then I'm going to open it back up when I go to sleep. So hopefully with all the windows open, or all the doors open, I should say, it'll stay dry tonight. I just had another visitor to the campsite. Looks like a cardinal.